We're all growing a beard. A man's face should never be bare. We just want some facial hair. We're anticipating, yeah, everyone's waiting for a beard.
That is my jam.
I know, man. Good morning, guys. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Glad you've chosen to join us. This is Behind the Beards. And here on Behind the Beards, we try to pull the curtain back, take a look behind the scenes of ministry leaders, your ministers, those people who are called to lead your churches and ministries. Just take a look at the things that go on in the lives of those people. My name is Josh Fowler. I'm a preaching minister in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And my partner here on the other side of the screen, partner, friend, soldier, worker, what other kind of, I started to say expletives. Expletives is not the word I was looking for, but those nice, big, flowery words I can use to describe my friend here. Aaron Partlow, youth minister in Topeka, Kansas. What's going on, man? How's things going in the woods?
I am on vacation.
Vacation.
Yep, we are on vacation. Matter of fact, after this podcast, my wife and I are packing up the car and headed to Lake of the Ozarks for a nice week out in a Airbnb on a lake house. Pretty excited. Till Saturday. We'll be back Saturday night. So
Lake of the Ozarks.
I've never been.
It is a beautiful part of the country. Pretty cool up there you're like driving along and then all of a sudden it's like boom, mountains.
Yeah.
And then really
spoiler, thanks.
Sorry. You're gonna love it.
I am gonna love it.
Vacations don't come along often enough, do they?
That is true. My wife and I definitely feel like we are at a point where it's like you get to almost like a breaking point, and you're like, your comments are like going. By the way, I just need everyone to know that we are trying something new, a new streaming service. So if we get off track, it's because we're like, what is going on? So like Josh's comment, "Come on, man," has popped up like 8 times for me. So we are trying something new. We are trying to up our production value. So anyway,
we'll see how that works, right?
By the way, you will receive Behind the Beard points, which you can redeem at some point in the show if you can guess what Aaron's backdrop is throughout the show. So go ahead and list that in our comments. That is your question for the day. Actually, you have 2 questions for the show. Today we're talking about who are you wearing tonight? We're doing the old red carpet question ask. We're talking about t-shirts and not just t-shirts, but other kind of merch that you kind of get from youth rallies, church camps, retreats, just joining a youth group in general. What kind of merch? What's useful? What's not useful? What are the inside deets on that? And what are we looking at there? So I want your question for today is 1, what is this beautiful backdrop? If you can tell me, that would be great. And then 2, what is your favorite shirt that you have gotten from sort of an event? What did it say? Did it have a favorite passage on it? What made it something that, it's got holes in the neck and in the arms and you just want to wear it all the time? So Josh is very particular, by the way. I want you to know that Josh is very particular. So Josh, which I have learned over the years of working with Josh. So Josh, what to you makes a good shirt? Like, what is it when you go to a youth rally, you're like, this is a good shirt? Or what is it that makes you go, this is a shirt I'm going to wear to Wichita Work Camp and get paint on?
Man, I don't know. It's so hard, especially when you're designing it because of the array of people that you're working to, right? Like if I create a shirt that I like and I'm going to wear, it's probably not a shirt that you're going to like or you're going to wear.
I don't do bedazzles, so
you know. I know.
Rhinestones are not my thing.
And I'm not saying I necessarily do all the time, but I do love a shirt that pops.
Josh hates me.
I know our senses of style could probably not be farther apart from one another.
That is so true. So what is it for you that makes a good shirt? That's what I want to know.
For me,
this is off the cuff question here. Putting them on the spot.
It is. What I don't like when it comes to like event shirts, what I don't like is I don't like the cookie cutter, corny, kind of Christian play on words that we have kind of the tendency to do. If they're done right and the logoing around it is good enough, then I can stomach it. But for me, it has to be something that is original. And that is going to make people look and go, what are you wearing? That's the question, right? And that's literally the thing, that it has enough intrigue to it that people notice it, that it's not so obvious that they know exactly. I want a conversation starter.
Sure.
And that's when, all of the clothes that I wear, they're outrageous the way they are. Not because I want the attention, but because it starts conversation.
Sure.
People will come up and say, like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Like, are you really wearing that? Why in the world would you wear that? It's like, how many people come up and talk to me because of the shoes that I wear or because of the lettering that's on my shirt, or it starts conversations. And that's, for me, that's what I look for.
So my favorite shirt, and I'm glad my dad's here because he'll remember this. I got to a point where I could wear the same shirts that my dad could wear, which kind of made it really annoying for him, because in the darkest, deepest part of his closet were old camp shirts. And I found them in high school. And my favorite shirt, Dad, and you know this, was a red shirt that said Church of Christ across it. Oregon City, Church of Christ. It said Oregon City in small letters, Church of Christ across the chest, but it was in the Coca-Cola lettering. And I wore that shirt till it was like see-through. Like I loved, that was my favorite shirt. It was so cool. It was really comfortable. But I loved it because you looked at it, you glanced at it, and this is what makes a good shirt for me. You glanced at it and you go, oh, that's cool. And then you look at it and you're like, oh no, that's really cool. Oh, I get it. Mm-hmm. So that's something for me that really takes. Okay, so for me, what makes a great shirt has to be comfortable. Has to be comfortable. And that even goes for like when I'm buying a shirt at the store or something. It has, yeah, I don't buy uncomfortable clothing. It has to be comfortable. It has to be cozy. It has to, like, I really am enjoying, I found this company called Sunday Cool. So shout out to you guys. Love you guys. Probably my favorite t-shirt company I've ever found. You can check them out, their Facebook page. So sponsors, but anyway, they make these they sell these super soft t-shirts, and they're so great. Another thing that makes a good shirt is I hate giant logoed t-shirts. So something that like takes up your entire chest, not for me. I also am not a fan of like the weird side design. Like there was a time and age where it was like blank on the chest and like this weird side design, or that like wrapped around your belly, And as a belly man now, I really don't enjoy those shirts. And they're not called belly shirts, but that's what I want to call them.
I'm laughing so hard because I love a big, like large, like print, like a large enough print that the logo doesn't like fit totally on. Like it's also, what's even better is when it's offset a little bit and kind of wraps around to the side.
We are so different. I think if it's done tastefully, I enjoy it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like I don't like the big print because most t-shirts that do that, like I sweat. Like I sweat. Mm-hmm. And so like it sticks to my chest.
But when you have Sunday Cool,
oh yeah,
I will second Sunday Cool. because their ink style, their print, and their t-shirts are so light, and they're those vintage shirts,
Yeah,
And
it's like
because
water. I think it's called water-based printing.
water-based ink, yeah. That it changes that. Since you introduced me to Sunday Cool, I have not bought a t-shirt from anywhere else
True that.
for any or Tigers for Christ or Vacation Bible School or youth group. If anybody needs a t-shirt, I'm going to Sunday Cool.
Yeah.
I love this. Bryce says, I feel like I get more shirts that I wouldn't wear. And sometimes I've designed shirts and I get done and it's like, there's no way in the world I'm going to wear that. That one's just.
I know. All right. So funny story. And I'll let Josh tell the story, but we designed a camp shirt and the design was really cool. The application did not go as well as we had thought.
You have to be talking about UPS.
Oh, you know it.
Man. And this is the other problem with working on a camp budget, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is because in my mind, when we created this shirt, I'm picturing like UPS work shirts.
Yeah.
Because, it was right around that time where it was super cool to wear the old mechanics shirts, the old Cintas button up. Back in my day, this is where it took me back to. Acapella in 93 had an album that came out called Rescue. Beautiful album. And the song on there was You Come to My Rescue. And at one of their concerts, they had a scrub shirt. And then it had their album logo or album artwork on the back of it. And that was like the thing, right? So when I'm thinking, when all this stuff comes back in and, we're wearing work shirts and we're doing this, I'm going, dude, this takes me back to high school, really, with these guys. And so I have this in mind, this brown UPS shirt that's going to look like, somebody just hopped off a UPS truck and is going to deliver it. And the brown one worked out pretty much that way.
Yeah, the brown one was pretty good.
Even though it was a t-shirt.
Camp budget. Could not afford button-ups for a 200-person camp.
But then when we try to change it up and give the was it the middle school session the yellow, or was it the high school session?
It was the high school session. The poor high school students got this golden.
It was just inverted. It was inverted.
Golden urine colored shirt.
It was bad. I love this. Jonathan says you got a shirt through an event with blue, purple, and clashed with all the jeans.
Oh, I know, right?
Hey, you can't clash. Can't clash.
So I learned there was one year we did white shirts, and we did not do white shirts where we were going to tie dye them at the camp. I just got white shirts because I thought they would be a great idea. I have never seen a teenager wear that white shirt. Same reason, because they were all dirty, so just everyone knows, like, white shirts, never a good idea. They show everything, the stains and all sorts of stuff. It's just terrible. And, I went to NCYM. So I used to go to NCYM. Oh, I do go to NCYM. I love the National Conference of Youth Ministries. So if you go to NCYM, props to you. If you are a church member here and you have a youth minister or somebody who is youth focused and you do not send them as a church to NCYM, do it. It'll be the best conference. Even if the classes don't reach them, the community is the biggest part of it. So anyway, send your youth ministers to the National Conference of Youth Ministry. They have a website. They have everything. It's fairly inexpensive for what you get. But I love it. Like, you can, at one point I meet up with my boys and we do the walk, right? And you walk around and you get all your free t-shirts from all these vendors. And I got a really cool shirt, but it was white. It was a long sleeve white shirt. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I went to the bathroom, I changed, I put it on. I don't think I've ever spilt more food on myself. At lunch, we went to this Mexican barbecue place, and I got salsa and I got barbecue sauce, all over me everywhere. I mean, it was like I ate ribs. I was like, you know, and instantly I didn't even bring the shirt home. Like I was like, it's not coming out. I tried the trick. Like somebody was like, "Hey, what's up, Stin? Cool. I'm glad you're here, man." I didn't even bring the shirt home. I even got in the shower and tried to like shower with it, seeing if I could get most of it out. And it was even worse. Like hot mess. Colorado Springs. Just put it right in the trash.
It's my big deal. I love white too. I mean, you see, like always wearing white. I love white. I love white pants. I love white shorts. They're good for like 2 wears. Like the first time I'm super careful, and then I'll walk around the car and brush up against like the fender or something, and it's like, oh, it's terrible.
Oh, they're gone.
Yeah. So this is your dad, right, Stephen Partlow?
That is my father. I still have my tie-dye shirt from Camp
Yam Hill.
7. I was there that year.
I'm telling you, Stephen, I have so many shirts. Like if there's any, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little jealous. I'm wondering now if you get first leftovers or if I get first leftovers of Aaron's events. And I won't put you on the spot on there, but
I still have a box in my basement that is addressed to Josh, and it has like 6 shirts in it that I've just never mailed. I kick it around every time I get into the garage. I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably put that in the mail. I'm sure you're excited to hear that.
I am. We can meet halfway sometime. Not as excited as my wife is. Like I love t-shirts, but my wife loves t-shirts, and she loves those vintage Sunday Cool tees. So
okay,
we're gonna get a sponsorship from Sunday Cool. This is like 4 mentions now. So
that's right. I hope so. I hope we get a sponsorship. Sorry, I have an itch on my forehead here. Anyway, so funny T-shirt story. So Josh and I are co-directors, equally in power and responsibility and awesomeness. I don't even know why I said that. Something like that. Anyway, and we are Josh and I are notoriously bad at remembering when picture day is. Like there's just something about it. Like we can announce it at staff meeting in the morning. We're like, hey, we got to make sure that everyone's here and in their camp shirts so that we can do picture day. Well, we just like constantly always forget. We have one student who is notorious for remembering picture day. Well, it just so happened that this was a year where we were using not Sunday Cool, but somebody else. And our T-shirts had not come. They were late, and I was trying to figure out where they were. I was getting frustrated because they weren't here. I actually remember that they were there like on a Thursday, and I had to drive back into town, and I picked them up and then brought them back out to camp. But we are here. We just sent everyone off on free time, right? And so we are at a church camp, and we have half of the camp who loves these like it's called creeking. And you basically just go and walk through a muddy, gross river, find a hole.
It's a creek. It's not a river.
Yeah, a creek. It's disgusting. And it has like this little spot that maybe goes up to your neck that they like to jump into. Like I don't know. I'm glad that they enjoy it. And Josh enjoys it. And the leeches enjoy it because they get some good meals. But anyway, we just sent all these kids off. They're doing this creeking trip. We got kids down in the baseball field. It's hot and they're sweaty. And here comes my favorite guy, my picture guy, the surrogate grandfather to my son right now. And he walks through the front door and he goes, hey, you guys ready to take the picture? This is when you told me to be out here. And Josh and I look at each other and just go,
oh,
hold on, we can do this better. We just look at each other and we go, oh crap. That was our special effects for the show.
Yeah,
and we go, oh crap. And I say, yeah, absolutely. I was just about to ring the bell and bring the kids in. And Josh goes, we have creekers. Josh goes blaring out and just goes like hauling down the creek. I go down. He goes down to the pond first to get the kids down at the pond. And in in the truck, he's like, "Hey kids, we got to go. We got to get. We forgot it's picture day. You got to take the picture." This one student is just really confused, and he looks at Josh and he goes, "We can't take
pictures.
Go ahead." And he goes,
"We can't take pictures." I was like, "What do you mean we can't take pictures? We don't have shirts."
What do you have on? I mean, we don't have camp shirts. We can't take a camp picture without a camp shirt. So this is actually my favorite camp picture. It's the only one in my office that has like a focal point. But it's like the first time you have all of these camp photos, and everyone's in matching camp shirts. Everyone's all hair folded, like picture day nice and everything. This camp photo, you've got kids that are like wet. You got kids who are muddy. I think there's a kid in a life jacket. He never took it off. I mean, you just have sweaty, hot, gross, smelly kids who are not ready for picture day at all. And it's a disaster. And we took this awesome picture. You have the one student who is like completely confused at what is happening and why we're doing it this way and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, it was just so funny.
Yeah. So in that conversation, he says, "We can't take pictures." I'm like, "Why not?" And he said, "We don't have our t-shirts." And I'm like, "Well, I know we usually take pictures in our t-shirts, but we don't have our t-shirts yet." And he goes, "Exactly. We can't take a picture." It's like, this year, we're just going to have to take them not wearing our camp t-shirts. And I remember him standing there and looking at me for about 30 seconds and then just shaking his head, walking off and going, "I don't understand." And he just walked up to the lodge. Yeah, I know.
Just one of those things.
Just one of those things. Oh man, I had forgotten about that until we started talking about this. That was
right.
So hilarious.
All right, let's talk about something a little bit. We'll change gears a little bit. We've had a lot of fun. So no more fun. So knock it off. My question is I want your opinion. Why is it important to have a good shirt? Like, why is it important to take this time, or shirt, or merch, and merchandise that's not the right word, but why is it good? Why is it important to have something good for the kids to take home, or even adults?
Just a second here, because I'm going to see if maybe someone out there has some ideas too. We put it right here, and then pop this open. Oh, there you go. I assume that a lot of people are similar to me in this way, okay? Because it really has much less to do with the shirt and more to do with what it represents. And maybe it has to do with age, or the where my kids are at. But I go back and look at the camp shirts that they've accrued over the years, and they get ready to throw them out. I keep them. Right. And so I have all of their camp shirts, all the things, all the places where we've been together. I've got those saved, because when I go back and look at them, they bring those moments back to me.
Yeah.
Even the ones like I have track shirts, and I have shirts from the Abilene Christian basketball tournament, that we went to. Sometimes they would come as gifts. Sometimes we'd have to pay for them, but I always had a t-shirt. And when I go back and look through those things, it just brings back, whether it was a team or a time or a year in school. And for camp, it brings back, like I see that I don't even remember what the theme of the camp was, but I have the t-shirt that has the Jesus, deal, that it was the first one we actually directed together.
Our winter retreat?
No, it was that summer where
was it the red one?
We picked up last minute because of some changes that happened in the area. And that t-shirt, when I see that t-shirt, it's like, oh man, I remember that. That was
crazy.
That was crazy, yeah. And
that's a man, yeah. I think we talked about that on a podcast about like planning camp in a week.
Right. And so it just brings things like back to my mind, memories, things that are important, things that are of value. And it not that the t-shirt has everything to do with it, because we also have journals and things, but t-shirts strike so many people in a different kind of sentiment. And there's so many things you can do with them nowadays. You see people making quilts out of them, and so you have this. I have them all saved just for that. And one of these days, I'm going to have my big church camp quilt.
At that point, you'll make a rug out of it and cover your whole house.
An area rug.
Yeah, no joke.
So for me, a couple of quilts.
I think why it's important to have a good shirt is this is my big spiel here. Also, I apologize, guys. I'm still learning this whole like reversed camera thing. So like I'm like, oh, I need to get out of my mic. Why is it not working? It's like so professional. Anyway, and now I'm fading in and out. This is awesome. Anyway, for me, what's like most important? What's most important is this whole. I want to produce something that my teens are going to wear, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the most important part for me. Is it has to be something that my teens are going to wear. If they're not going to wear it, why even make it? And so that's kind of like the big point here. So that's driving me crazy. So we're just going to leave it. That's like the whole point for me. So like, why is it important to have a good shirt? Because it has to be something that the teens are going to walk away and wear. It has to be a design that they're going to like. It has to be a design that they're going to wear. I want to see them wearing it at school. If it's not something that a teen's going to wear at their school, it's not something that they're going to wear at all. And that's really important. It's also like, I hate to say advertisement because I don't like to refer to like youth group and advertise and all that kind of stuff. And it just seems weird. Like for me, it has like a bad taste, but at the same time, like it's free real estate. And if you have a teenager who's wearing a camp shirt or a youth group shirt, I'm rocking right now our youth group shirts, Sunday Cool, and I love them. And they're like comfortable and they're nice. And so it has to be something that your teens are going to wear. Plus it makes you, it's a conversational starter. A lot of our kids, they will see another teen wearing a shirt and they'll be like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember when that happened. And it reminisces and brings back these memories. So Josh, I think it's cool that you hold on to your kids' camp shirts. It's also cool to like hold on to those because like I said, like I raided my dad's closet and I would wear some of these like old Camp Yamhill shirts because Camp Yamhill was where we went to church camp. And so it was like, it's really powerful and really cool for me to wear old Camp Yamhill shirts. At one time, I had an old Camp Yamhill belt buckle. It was really cool. And I ended up trading it for like 6 t-shirts. I gave it to a guy who deserved it more than me, who put a lot more blood, sweat, and tears into Camp Yamhill. And he was getting rid of some Kappa Sigma Tau t-shirts. Shout out to our brothers at Oklahoma Christian.
So speaking of Kappa, when I went back to OC in 2009, I was the cat's meow. I was the cat's meow with Kappa.
It was. And
I had to go deep into my closet to go pull out some of those old vintage Kappa shirts from 95, 96. And I remember wearing one of them one day, and this guy is like, he's just like staring at me. And I'm like, what's up, man? And he's like, where did you get that shirt? I was like, this shirt? It's like, this is my Rush shirt, man. He goes, what? And he starts looking, he goes, how many more do you have? Like, can I buy them? Like, no, you can't buy them. That's like a part of my history. I have my old flag football jerseys and basketball jerseys from Kappa. We got our old float trip t-shirts, our banquet sweatshirts.
Poor Bryce. And Bryce's comment.
Bryce does not raid my closet. Jody, my daughter, raids my closet. And she loves, like, I have a Kappa sweatshirt, and like if I can't find it, I know where it is. It's in her closet or in her car because she keeps stealing it from me. One of the best sweatshirts we ever had, nice embroidery, and So I hear you. Those things, they come back, and they just bring all those memories and things back. And so I think it's it's easy to overlook.
Mhm.
It's an easy thing to just be like, oh, it's just another t-shirt. And it's like, yeah, in one sense it is just another t-shirt, but in another very real sense, there's a connection that kind of comes along with taking something away from it. Almost in kind of symbolic fashion. I'm putting something literally into your hands
Right.
to remind you of the things that I have placed into your mind and into your heart.
Right.
So,
I was going to say something now I completely forgot.
is it
I
about
love
Bryce?
Bryce's comment. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I found out recently that a teen found someone wearing one of my shirts that someone bought the shirt at a thrift store. Nothing feels better. So funny story. This is gonna get me in trouble, but at this point I don't care anymore. This has nothing to do with church shirts or anything. I love my grandmother, and she used to make us clothing. And my sister, she would make my sister clothing, and she made something for my sister. And I think like a couple months later, it's like she just didn't want it or didn't like it or something. I don't know what it is. Took it to the Goodwill in Oregon City. It somehow made itself way to the Goodwill in Portland or something like that. My grandma was shopping, saw it,
Oh no.
bought it, and then like wrapped it up and gave it to my sister again as a gift. Just to see her face of, oh, look at this clothing that I made. And then I think she said something like, hey, I'm not going to make you clothing unless you like, they'll ask for it if you just give it to Goodwill or something. But I don't know why that reminded me of that, but that's so funny. Like, and I had a teen that I just graduated out of the youth group, Marin Phillips. Oh, it was a book bag. Thanks, Dad. It was a book bag. Anyway, I knew he would know that story.
That story no longer fits in our podcast. Sorry.
Yep. All right. We'll cut that out. Anyway, I had a teen, and she never wore a single one of our t-shirts, like ever. She just never wore t-shirts in general. She wore designer or fitted or whatever kind of stuff. And so I always gave her a hard time of like, all right, is this Marin worthy? Like, are you gonna wear this? And she'd be like, and she wouldn't answer. Which meant like, no, I'm not going to. So that made me branch out like a couple times, and we did different things. Like we did wristbands one year. We did a retreat called Plugged In, and it was kind of cool. It was. I guess it was more cool in my head, but I bought a bunch of those 2-prong to 3-prong adapters, and then I put a scripture on them, and I made keychains out of them. And that's what the kids got from that retreat. But at every Bible class, there was 3 Bible classes taught at 3 different times, and we made charging stations, plug-in stations. And so they would go. So if they went to your class, they would bring their keychain and they would plug it in as kind of like a sign of, hey, I'm plugging into this conversation, and that kind of stuff. So that was kind of unique and kind of cool. I made these. I had my deacon of youth made these cool like plugged in lamps, and they were kind of cool. And so they had like a light. Anyway, they were kind of cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool. But it's about reaching those other folks, right? I mean,
yeah,
because everybody's not a t-shirt people.
That's right. Adapting and changing. Which kind of goes into our next question, obviously we don't need to answer the question, who do you get shirts from? I feel like we've abused that and said that much. And guys, like, honestly, like, we're not sponsored by Sunday Cool. We don't have any affiliation with Sunday Cool. It's just a really great Christian company. They put out some really good content as well. They put out some like devotionals, and they just have a really good t-shirt policy. Honestly,
They also put out a fantastic Camp Rules video.
Yes. Yeah. Download that and share that with
it's hilarious.
Your church camp. It is so good. They put out some really good, relatable content to teenagers. And I think like 90% of it's just free. which I think is really cool as a T-shirt company that is Christian based. That they just kind of hand out some of these supplies and stuff like that for free. I'm really enjoying right now. Josh and I were joking, but this Gen Z, the word according to Gen Z, it cracks me up. Some of these, Josh and I were just talking about this, but we weren't planning on this, but I just turned to this section 2, day 12. It says, I Marco Polo'd Cap G, and he didn't leave me on read. And I snatched up all my scaries. And I sit there and I go, I don't even know what passage that is. And like, I would be like, that is so like, why would you even have? But then I realized that on the next page, like when the devotional starts, they have it right there. You know, I sought the Lord and he answered me and he delivered me from all my fears. They go in and have this really great devotional. It's a 30-day devotional. Check those out. They're really good. I really enjoy them. I'm going to buy them for my youth group.
The devotionals there and that one are fantastic. They really
are.
And a lot of people kind of aren't able to get past the translation aspect of that. But it's not really any different than, reading the Message.
Yeah.
As far as a version goes, and they have I think it's the New English translation that's there. And so, or the English Standard Version. Great. And so you have like the scripture and you have this kind of funny translation of it. But, if that gives you trouble, then don't read that, because the devotional that comes along with it is really, really powerful, as I've kind of read through them. So,
Josh, we need to take a moment. Yeah, we need to take a moment and highlight what Bryce just did here, because this is a youth minister genius mode right here. Something else, I'll read it, I guess. It's like, something else that I have tried recently is ordering Nalgene water bottles with our logo on it. And from big events, get stickers that they can put on their water bottle. And so the more active they are, the more full their water bottles are, or will be, with stickers, I can't read, at the end of their time in youth group. That is an awesome idea. Can we just go ahead and
a little golf clap for Bryce?
Yeah, that is like a genius youth minister move.
By the way, we'll be able to see Bryce Ballard live and in person here 1 week from today, October 20th. Right.
Our first guest, we thought it would be best to have Bryce, one of the original Brain Trust members. So that'll be really great. You guys will have to forgive him. He is beard intolerant. But we offer grace and we offer mercy.
Patches of hand.
That's right, for his naked face. This has been a mess of a podcast, but I'm enjoying it.
I have actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I know you're going on vacation as soon as we get off here, right?
I am. I'm on vacation mode right now.
I know, but you're actually getting in the car and driving, so we can.
That's true.
We can wrap up. What's your? See, I beat you to it. What's your behind the beards moment for this? What's the one thing that people need to take away?
Are you ready? Because we're about to get real intense over here.
You always lean into this.
The behind the beard moment is this, and I'm gonna fade away into the background. Goodness gracious!
The Shadowlands.
Yeah. Shh. Okay, your behind the beard moment. This is really important. I can't think of the word, but not merchandise, but having something to physically take away from a trip or some sort of youth event is really important. It's not an extra cost. A lot of times, like if you're thinking about putting on a retreat or a VBS or something, it's sometimes one of the first things like, ooh, well, that's not going to make the budget. Let's go ahead and cut the t-shirts. I'm just going to say t-shirts for this. A lot of times we talk about like cutting the t-shirts first. It is important. It is really, really important to have a t-shirt, to have something that is comfortable, that your kids are going to wear, that they're going to walk away with and take. Do not cut your t-shirt costs to get something that the kids aren't going to wear or walk away with. And that's just really important for all of these things that we have mentioned today. So if you are not a youth minister and you're on a committee that kind of leads this, know that these kind of things are important. These are some of the small little details that youth ministers know, because we spend a lot of time with teenagers. We spend a lot of time with them outside of these events. We see them wear these shirts. It gives us great talking points as well. And be like, hey, do you remember Soul Quest 2 years ago? That was the shirt you're wearing, right? Yeah. Hey, just question. What's something that you remember from that week? Oh, that's awesome. I remember that too. These are the kind of conversation starters that we kind of get to have, build relationships, to build these other things. They're really important. And it's something that a lot of times, like, we're willing to cut or sacrifice or say, or slap someone's hand and say, no, you can't do that. That's too much money. But those are really important aspects of the ministry. We can cut other stuff. We can cut snack time before we cut T-shirts. Okay, kids will live without a snack, but get them a good T-shirt. Yeah, cut canteen. They don't need more sugar. Trust me, they'll find the energy.
And there's a camaraderie that comes around it, right?
Oh, totally.
That comes around here. And look at your other organizations,
mm-hmm.
football teams, basketball teams. And not just kids. You see it in the NBA when the playoff time rolls around. The team wears the shirt. You see the shirt in the stands. You see all of these things that build up this team aspect of what all's going on.
Yeah.
And so there's this binding agent, that comes along with it as well, that just really kind of builds in some solidarity. So
yeah, and that's a great point. Youth ministers, if you order youth group T-shirts, don't just give them to your youth group. Give them to the people in your church as well. Let them wear them. Let them show that they support your youth ministry. It's a great resource for them as well. I mean, let's be fair. A lot of elderly people end up bringing their grandchildren or even neighbors' kids. And if they're wearing a youth group T-shirt, that might be an open door for them to maybe get more involved in your youth ministry. Intergenerational ministry has been proven to be a key factor in lasting discipleships. So don't allow something as silly as buying a T-shirt to stop somebody from wanting to serve or be a billboard for your youth ministry in some way. It's really, really some awesome stuff. Last story, and then we'll close up here. I have never had a youth group revolt more than 1 year. We went to Winterfest, and I did this. So when I tell you the behind the beard moment, this comes from the heart, people, the heart. To save money, I did not get them T-shirts. And I have never been chewed out by more teenagers, embarrassingly, as we're standing in the lobby of the place for Winterfest. What do you mean we didn't get T-shirts? You didn't get us a T-shirt? Why didn't we get a T-shirt? Everyone else was wearing a T-shirt. What? I mean, and from all of them, like 25 kids. So what did I do? I went and got all their sizes, and before we left, I made sure that I bought them all T-shirts for more than if I would have pre-ordered them. So it is really, really important. Josh, any final words before I wrap us up?
No, I just say remember that it represents a whole lot of work. And maybe if you're in a church or around a church or know a minister and you have, maybe that gift of graphic design or even just input or design ideas. Maybe you don't know how to put it together, but
I have the gift of input.
I have the gift of input. A lot of people have ideas.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to put them onto a computer to get them to people to actually make them come about. We can do that, but ideas, sometimes are just hard to come by. Your brains get taxed. You get in that place where you spend so much time creating that it's like, how much creativity do I have left in this moment? So maybe you're out there and you have some ideas. Don't be afraid of passing those ideas along, or even just, hey, this kind of popped in my head. I don't know if you could use it or not. Sometimes all it takes is that little spark, to begin some of those things. And some of our best ideas have come from people that have just kind of tossed something out there that they kind of thought was trash. And it's like, oh no, I can work with that.
I can work with trash.
And
literally, a camp encounter, we worked with trash.
That's right. So don't be shy, step in, find a way to help and engage. And when you see those t-shirts rolling around, just be aware of the amount of work and blood and sweat and sometimes tears have been kind of poured into some of those things. So
yeah. And shout out to those people who do design t-shirts, especially if you're married to me. I appreciate you full-heartedly, and I love you for all the time and effort that you hand draw a lot of our designs. But hey, I want to thank y'all for being here today, and I appreciate y'all joining us. If you are new to the podcast, we're excited that you're here. We hope that you keep coming by. We just want to continue to reveal the life of ministers, but we also want to remind you of something really important to close us out today. Is I want to remind you of Galatians 6:9. Do not grow weary in doing good. Don't grow weary in doing good. This world is messy. This life is messy. So just allow Christ to use you and do something different. Do something good today in God's name. I'm Aaron, and this is Josh, and we will see you next week with our first guest ever on Behind the Beards.
Till we're all growing a beard. A man's face should never be bare. We just want some facial hair. We're anticipating, yeah, everyone's waiting for a beard.